This video will show you how to access and use the MTSS dashboard for your MTSS teams to compare a student against the data of their peer group. To find the MTSS dashboard, you're going to come over to the Dashboards drop-down menu and then click on My Dashboards. You should see it here if you have access as a principal, district administrator, or a specialist. You should see it as one of the favorites showing up here. If you don't see it populating in your favorites, you can click on All Dashboards. And then from your list, it just might not be hearted. So you can click on the heart to make it a favorite. And then it should in the future show up on My Dashboards favorites here. Once you come to the dashboard, at the top of the page, you'll see the steps that I'm going to walk through in this video are also listed here for instructions. And then next to that, you have as a student lookup. So you could come here to look up the student's spotlight as well. The first step you'll want to take, excuse me, is to change the student group that you are looking at. So if you are a school specialist or principal, you have access to all the students in your school, but in general, who do you want to compare this focus student of your MTSS team? Who do you want to compare them against for your meetings purposes today? If they are in TBIP, you may have the TBIP teacher may have created, or from Mandy, gotten a special student group that is the peer group for that student in TBIP. Or you may just be looking at all students at the grade level. So you can come up here, pick a new default group. And then if it's a student peer group from TBIP, it would be in the My Groups, which is already selected. So you can scroll through your groups here, click to a different page, or you can search for a label if you know what that peer group is called. If you're just going to filter down to a group that's more less specific and within your school, you can go to Shared Groups, click on School Specific, click on your own school, whichever that is. And then you'll see lists of groups by grade level. You'll also see special education students by grade level or bilingual education students by grade level. So you can select any of those groups by clicking on the plus sign and add student group. That will change the entire dashboard to only show data for that group of students. Once you've selected your student group, you're going to scroll down, and I'll show you from this little table of contents here. For elementary, middle school, and high school, there are 2 containers each. One is the student snapshot, which teachers and specialists have on their own dashboard pages. It's the same thing. And the next is the risk indicators, which is the same container that you have, everyone has on their own dashboards, but they're condensed here and side by side, so it's less data to load, easier to move back and forth between for MTSS teams. And so that you can make sure it's showing just the data for the comparison group you're looking at that point in your MTSS meeting. So you'll click or scroll down to the snapshot or risk indicator container that you want to look at that time. If you are looking at the elementary, you want to make sure you change to the correct tab. So I'm looking at 3rd grade students. I want to make sure I'm on the 3rd through 5th grade grid. That will show the correct assessments and data points for 3rd through 5th graders. Middle school and high school have the same tabs or just one tab for all middle school or all high school because their assessments are more similar. Once you get in here, you'll see this is also the names have been scrambled, but you can look across and see now, see the data of a student. Let's say the student we're studying in this meeting is Bradley. So if I click on her name or his name, I can scroll over and I can see that that student's data is highlighted. And then if I want to say, oh, I want to really focus and look at how this student did on their STAR compared to other students at this grade level, I can come up here to the gear and sort. And if I scroll, there you go. You can see it's still selected. So I can see about this many students were had scores above that student and the other in math, STAR math, and that's where they fall compared to their peer group. So you can sort, you can filter, you can sort in multiple ways or change. If you want to do more sorting and filtering, you might want to consider first downloading the spreadsheet of this data and of this group. That way you can save some of your sorts or do different color coding and manipulating of the data. If you do that and download as a spreadsheet, it'll give you options to include other information, for example, who the teachers are of these students, things that we don't already show on the snapshot, the student ID numbers, the grade level, things like that. And then once you download it, it will not save any of the sorting that you have done on the container. So the container sorting is really helpful for just really quick sorts. You just want to check something, but if you want to do anything that you're going to save, especially like MTSS, where you could download the spreadsheet and then save that into the student's file on SharePoint that you're building, I would definitely encourage you to download those spreadsheets as well. So that is how you access the MTSS dashboard, change the student group for the comparison group you need at each MTSS meeting, a little bit about looking at the data, sorting and filtering, and downloading the spreadsheets for more information.